Video Sports, only on Fox 47 News at 10.
Well, today was the final round of the Rocket Mortgage Classic in Detroit, the first PGA tournament in the state of Michigan since the last Buick Open back in 2009. 10 years later, Michiganders showed out at Detroit Golf Club with great crowds throughout the weekend. Let's head out to the course. Another great day for golf, part of the reason for those great crowds. We're going to start things off with a Jackson, Michigan native. This is going to be Brian Stewart here. Had himself quite a tournament. Stewart here on the par 3 9th hole. It's a beautiful shot. This one goes and ends up just about 4 feet away from the pin. He would drain the birdie putt. Stewart was 4 under today, and he finished at 17 under for the tournament in a tie for 5th place. Everyone, though, was chasing this man, Nate Lashley, who barely got into the tournament, the last man in the field, and then he proceeded to lead wire to wire. Here he birdies the par 4 13th hole. Lashley goes on to win as he finished at 25 under par, 6 strokes ahead of Doc Redmond, who finished in solo second. Well, we knew the Detroit Tigers were rebuilding, but this season has been about the worst case scenario so far. That led the team to get just one All-Star this year, and that's closer Shane Green. Green has 22 saves, and he will represent Detroit at All-Star Weekend. As for today, Tigers and Nationals had a rubber match in their weekend series at Comerica Park. The biggest story of the day, though, was the return of Max Scherzer, who was on the mound for Washington. Let's head out to Comerica Park. Scherzer rolling at this point as the Tigers were scoreless until Brandon Dixon steps up in the bottom of the 7th with 1 out and smacks his 11th home run of the season. Tigers tied up at 1 in the 7th. In the top of the 8th, though, the Nationals would answer right back. Joe Jimenez comes on the mound for the Tigers, and Anthony Rendon launches that one opposite field to right. Jimenez points to the sky like it's a pop-up, but instead of landing in the infield, it lands over the right field wall. That's about how the season's going. Scherzer had a great outing on the other hand. 4th straight game for him with over 10 strikeouts. He finished with 14 today in 8 innings of work. Tigers fall 2-1 the final. Here's Max Scherzer after the game talking about his return to Detroit.
Yeah, it was fun pitching here again. I pitched here for a while. One of the few parks where you have that dirt going all the way to home plate. So, definitely remember pitching here. So it was cool to be back here and, get to pitch in our game.
Meanwhile, the Lansing Lugnuts were blanked this afternoon by the visiting Bowling Green Hot Rods. They fall 3-0. Lansing and Bowling Green wrap up their series tomorrow night. Speaking of the Lugnuts, one of their former stars is going to be partaking in the MLB Home Run Derby, and at 20 years old, he's going to be the youngest to ever participate in the Derby. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is set to compete in the Home Run Derby during Major League Baseball's All-Star Weekend. The son of Vladimir Guerrero Sr. has 8 home runs on the season. Many of you saw his power displayed at Cooley Law School Stadium when he played for the Lugnuts. And now his power will be on display for the world. Christian Yelich, Carlos Santana, and Josh Bell are among the other contestants in this year's Derby. NBA free agency is here, and wow, have we started with some absolutely huge news. None bigger than the multiple reports this afternoon that say Kevin Durant plans to join Kyrie Irving and DeAndre Jordan and sign with the Brooklyn Nets. Brooklyn moves from a largely irrelevant team that barely made the playoffs to suddenly a very dangerous threat in the Eastern Conference. Now, it should be noted that Durant will not play much of or at all next season after he tore his Achilles in the NBA Finals. Replacing Irving with the Boston Celtics will be Kemba Walker, who reportedly signed or will reportedly sign a 4-year deal with Boston. A few others to note: Brook Lopez and Chris Middleton are expected to head back to Milwaukee, and now the league's attention shifts to Kawhi Leonard, who's coming off a Finals MVP performance with the Toronto Raptors. None of the signings are official as of yet. Teams and players can agree to terms of a deal, but the signings will occur on or after July 6th. The Detroit Pistons, they were staying busy today as well. They reportedly agreed to a deal with Derrick Rose, the former MVP. Rose, who has battled injuries throughout his career, last season played with the Minnesota Timberwolves. It appears he would slot in with Detroit as a backup to current point guard Reggie Jackson. The deal for Rose is said to be for 2 years and $15 million. And not too long ago, it was reported that Grand Ledge Comet Al Horford has agreed to a deal with the Philadelphia 76ers. This comes after the 76ers agreed to sign and trade Jimmy Butler to the Miami Heat for Josh Richardson. Horford was most recently with the Boston Celtics, and he is a 5-time All-Star. In the quarterfinals of the Gold Cup today, the U.S. men's national team was playing Curacao, and the Americans win this one 1-0 in the final. They move on to the semifinals. They will face Jamaica on Wednesday. The United States women's national team, meanwhile, is once again making a run at the World Cup. The U.S. team will play England in a semifinals match on Tuesday after they took down France 2-1 in the quarterfinals Friday afternoon. The Americans have won 10 straight games in World Cup play dating back to 2015, and their unbeaten streak is at 15 games dating back to 2011. No team has ever matched that mark. Multiple players on the U.S. team are in the running for the Golden Boot Award, which is given to the player with the most goals in the tournament. One of those players is Alex Morgan, who has 5 goals. She is tied with teammate Megan Rapinoe and England's Ellen White. Morgan says she hopes the Golden Boot is won by an American, but is more focused on the team's success.
Of course, it'd be a great accolade, but that's not my goal. My goal is to help this team win a World Cup. So as long as the goals continue to come, then I'm happy. And that's not goals continuing to come from me, but that's this team.
That's not a selfish player. That's a good teammate, and hopefully they can win and get back to the final.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to that game.